In bit 4, we explored the impact of the cognitivist and the connectionistic modalities on our three concerns: dwelling, knowing, and learning. Bit 5 introduces the autopoietic modality and starts to show you how drastically our ideas of organisation and strategy process are changed by the autopoietic modality. And part 6 will continue that.
Alright, autopoietic. I asked a friend of mine, how can I express or say what autopoiesis is? Simply. And he just texted me back, the capability of self-procreation. And I went, oh yeah, right, okay. He's right. But in a business or in a management context, it's not very illustrative, is it? Anyway, he went on to say, the classic example is an amoeba splitting to recreate itself. Do you remember your biology classes? God, I can still see this blob, 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 blob. All okay, yeah. To amoeba. From my biology class. And, oh God, well, we used to call it year 3. I don't know what grade it is now. I would have been 13. Maybe this way. Do you remember playtime at school? When the bell went, and you all ran out into the quad or the playground. How come the quads, the playground, had zones? And what I mean by that is year groups or sometimes even gangs. But I went to a grammar school, so we didn't have gangs. But year groups dominated. They had particular parts of the quad, and you didn't go into those if you weren't in that year. Once you arrived in that year group, hey, this is ours now. How come that happens? Every playtime, that pattern is the same. You get football in the same spaces, the same places. What we do in the UK, soccer. The girls, with their skipping ropes in the same places. It's and the rules. If you want to join in a game, you have to ask, whose game is it? And when they tell you whose game it is, please, can I play? That also tells you the rules. Because not every leader of the game had exactly the same rules. How come? A game was not led by the same person every playtime. But every playtime, that game was played. How come? Let's be all grown up. You go home from work. When you all go home, essentially the organisation stops working. Because you're not there doing anything, are you? I mean, one time I said to a class the organisation didn't exist, but they wouldn't accept that. So it stops working. And yet the next day you all go back and you're all doing the same thing again. How come? How does that keep happening? Well, what I want to say to you is, you may never ever have recognised it, but there is an or several autopoietic processes at work. Things that recreate that same pattern. They're working. So, the autopoietic modality regenerating natural or organizational structures. The thing that I'm interested in here is the autopoietic process of knowledge creation. Can we get at the know-how of knowing more than we did before? Ooh, did that the wrong way around, I think, but never mind. More than we did before. I forget that the camera turns it round. Anyway, ta-da! What we're interested in is the process of transferring, or if you like, recreating, because it is a recreation in mind, of what's known between members of organization. Okay. So we've done all this metaphoric nature stuff. You've talked about knowledge. And what about the strategy bits? Look, what I was saying to you earlier on is that the rational and the cognitivist view, the view, Michael Porter on strategy, why you do something because of this microeconomic dominant logic. How do you do it? Well, look, I've been terribly clever as Michael Porter, and I've invented the value chain, and I've invented the 5 forces model of industry structure. And so you use these tools to work out what it is you have to do. Whoops. That area leads to the rest of it. Market rules, think through your costs, reduce those, identify your value creation points, enhance those. And the senior managers are the ones that know best. Okay? Let's contrast that with what I'm going to call the autopoietic sequence. Now, why? Well, autopoiesis is a process, so it has to have a sequence. And it starts with the knowledge of how to do stuff, because you do know how to do stuff, don't you? Yeah? What's important in this model is how you listen, how you observe, and how you practice the ideas that you pick up or you think about, how you become more skillful. Practice. Big noise is not good. How you listen, how you observe, and how you share. Okay? The listening, the sharing, the imagining, doing, this community of conversation, for want of a better expression, gives insight into what it is that you do. And as you experiment, you make small, significant changes in what you guys collectively do, things change. Some of these things might be really significant. But the issue is this: they have emerged out of your conversations and your dialogues. And you're trying out, you're testing out what each other say. Not in the sense of, there, you're wrong, but, oh yeah, that works for me. I can do that too. Oh, so what are we doing now then? Well, look, what we're doing now, excuse me, what we're doing now is seeing the environment like this, and we're doing this, and this connects to it like that. We have a new explanation that explains back to ourselves and back to the organisation why it is we're doing what we're doing, because of what we've now discovered we can do, and because of the way it has an impact on the environment, what it enables us to achieve in the environment.
Oh dear, bit five. I was trying to give you examples of autopoietic processes working in organisations, to reflect back on your experiences, particularly the one at school, where things come about and you get to know things through autopoietic process, but you're not aware of that process going on. Then we were exploring the distinction, I hope, between explicit ways of thinking and working and the cognitivist ideas and views of why we do something, the tools that you use to do that thing, and then what you have to do, into this different process of knowing how, and knowing how to listen, knowing how to talk, knowing how to speak, knowing how to share, and through that knowing, enabling others to know and to have insights so that the organisation can become more innovative, and remembering that it is a process. And a lot of this is tacit. You don't deliberately tell yourself how to do this. It just, I hate to use the word culture, but it is encultured as a way of thinking and working. We'll have a look at some more. We'll go back to looking at the formal matrix now in part 6. Okay.